Bloody nice, isn't it? Hello one and all, and welcome to Seen Through Glass. This is Souvretta House in St. Moritz, Switzerland. I need to show you around this place, but I'm going to save that for another video because I really need to explain what I'm doing here. Last time you saw me, I was arriving into Monaco, talking about the fact that I was going to be there and then popping into Italy and then eventually getting here to Switzerland. But fundamentally, traveling during these kind of COVID times, this is not that fun. It's actually a bit difficult. I'm constantly having to update and change my route based on ever-changing restrictions. I fast-tracked myself here to Switzerland because it's kind of where I've got the most opportunities, and today I'm going to be filming a video that I've kind of wanted to film for like 2 years. There's a car out there, a specific Porsche, and you've probably worked it out by the title, that I've been desperate to share with you all. So yes, we're going to head downstairs and hopefully go and find this quite incredible GT3 Touring. I actually think I filmed your car before.
Have you?
Genuinely, at like Goodwood, when you begged Paul Wallace to go and check it out.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
Definitely.
You're like, they're totally the wrong person, by the way, to beg to go and look at a Porsche. You're like, hey Paul, like my car's so cool, come check it out. And he was like, oh, some idiot's asking me to go look at a green Porsche.
I hate Porsches.
Yeah, but I said, that sounds right up my street. And ladies and gentlemen, here it is, arguably, and Tino sort of claimed, this is your claim to fame, the most used, the highest mileage GT3 Touring in the world.
One of the many claims which are all untrue, yeah.
And we also have to give a shout out, of course, to Goji, co-driver for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's going to be joining us today. We're going to be taking these two cars up to a local mountain pass because during lockdown, you've basically been trolling the entire car community by posting amazing pictures of this car on mountain passes.
I've tried my very best to lose as many friends as possible by constantly posting pictures that I thought they would hate me for.
So yes, that's what we're going to do. And of course, once we get to some nice mountain passes, I'll talk you through this car in a little bit more detail. At least Tony, I was about to call you Tony.
You can call me what you want, sir.
You're just too foreign for me. This Tino thing, I'm just so not used to it. Can I just say, I have missed Switzerland. Oh my God, the shortest of drives to this point right here. And I was just like, oh, Switzerland. Everywhere I pointed my camera, it was just like fire. Also, I will never get over the fact that, in my opinion, the 991.2 911 is just one of the best looking 911s. I'm following a GT3 Touring. I'm overexcited, aren't I? Anyway, this is the base of the Albula Pass. I've been practicing that. I'm still not sure I've got it right. But essentially, starts off quite sort of small and twisty down here, then sort of opens itself up and, of course, heads up over a mountain. I'm going to follow Tino up there, and then when we get to the top, we're going to pull over, hopefully find a nice quiet spot where he can kind of talk us through all the details of the car, because it's not just a green GT3 Touring. There's a lot more about that car, and of course, his journey with it. So yes, for now, this is actually going to be my first time really pushing on in the GT410 Sport. I've done a bit and coming here today, but this is going to be interesting for this car too.
I know you're a bit of a Porsche file, but I appreciate that most people aren't as sad as you and me. So the colour is green, if you're not Sam or me. If you're as sad as we are, it's oak green metallic, which started in the mid-70s with Porsche, and then they sort of reiterated it for a Golf, and then it came onto the modern cars. And to me, it's just the perfect mix between green, classic, but with a metallic and a sort of slight gold sheen. And you can hear I'm going to become a sad person again, but I love it. It does what I wanted it to do for this car, which was hark back to what Porsche is, but take it forward without being a pastiche and trying to recreate something that has been before. And so yeah, the color to me was, when I got told I could get the color, it really isn't a lie to say that I probably didn't sleep for about 5 nights, which again, if you're not a Porsche guy, you won't get. But to me, it was a big deal. I would have still had the car, I would have still driven it the same, but the color makes it more personal. And to me, it means this car will never leave me. I'd call this a dead guy's car. I know this has been spoken about. If you know what it means, I don't have to explain it. And then really it came down to some of the other details. It was always grey wheels. I'm not a fan of black wheels. I also like the fact that these can get abused. They've got stone chips, they've seen snow. If you've got super polished silver wheels, it's not going to happen. I wanted the side stripe. That to me was classic 911R ST look. I appreciate it's on a water-cooled car, so that's heresy, but it works for me. And then really this car was always about less. I didn't want everything covered in leather, apart from that it gets really expensive, but I wanted things that I thought would make the car a better car to me. So the headrests were a big deal because I said to Porsche, look, I love that you can do a crest and I love it says GT3, but why doesn't it say Touring? And Porsche in their usual way went, yeah, but 9, but yes, but okay. And I just kept emailing. I said, look, guys, please, and I think about this. And that's the long story for why those headrests say Touring. I'm sad enough to have kept the leather cutout. That actually were, in the German way, we were trying which size of Touring we were going for. Again, Sam and I, if you're a normal person, you'll just think this is extra sad. Brown leather seats, espresso is the color. Looks a bit like a 911R, but the Pepita is from the anniversary. So slightly more brown, different tones. The rest of the interior is black. And then I had one little detail on my dashboard, which is the Touring sort of anodized aluminium. I had the first number plate my dad had on his first 911 put. So I never met my dad, he passed away before I could. And he had a 911 when he passed away with 350,000 kilometers. So to me, there was always a part of saying, if this car ever had to leave me, there was one thing I don't want to give up. And Porsche, again, getting about 50 million spam emails, went, yeah, but 9, but okay. And that's why the number plate is KHK 210. And again, it's very personal. It was never about having something rare. It was never about having something unique. I find those things so boring. If you love your car, that's unique, that's rare. Forget about what everyone else thinks. I'm very fortunate to have this, but I'm just as happy going about in a GTI, an Audi Quattro, or like we were just talking about a 200 Cup Renault. Like, great car to go around in. But yeah, I happen to be the lucky custodian of Eva. She's done 51,000 kilometers. The brakes definitely need replacing. She may or may not have lost bits of the exhaust, which may or may not make her sound like a cup car, which may or may not mean that if you see police, you have to be extra quiet. But I love the car. Goji comes along. I've driven her 8,000 kilometers in a month. So yeah, I might be the guy with a PTS car, but I'm really just the guy who loves a car. Swiss Sam.
Hello! I'm in the driver's seat. This is quite outrageous. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
It is a car that has been well used. I'm going to come back to that in a second. But it's a car that's been used by you. I mean, have many other people driven this thing?
Not really. My wife doesn't like it. Too loud, too low.
Okay, sure, fair enough.
And some other people think I'm obsessive with it, so they don't want to touch it.
Yeah, no, that's
no pressure.
No, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure because if you follow this man on Instagram, you will know that he loves this car probably more than that dog, and maybe any future children. Who knows? But the impressive thing is that 51,000 kilometers, because we tried to calculate this before we started filming. I think you've done more miles than I did during Drive the World in my Carrera T.
I'd be quite proud of that.
Yeah, I mean, so how long have you actually had the car?
Just over 2 years. And let's be honest, even with me, the Rona shut me down for 3 months, so that is not where it should be.
Fair enough, you would have kept going. What's the longest? You said 8,000 miles?
So last June we drove from France to Sweden and back 8,000 in 1 month. In these buckets, which, you know.
Yes, which is the big thing, which on my Carrera T I didn't want. I wanted comfort seats for longevity of my body.
I like the look. I'll
Yes,
put up with the pain.
The look. I think in a Touring you kind of have to have
You
these
want those little
seats, right?
details. So it's a little bit more than a 911, but not so much that it shouts at you.
Yeah, because most people who aren't nerds would just think this could be just a 911 Carrera S.
Apart from the shouty 911 green colour.
Yeah.
That's for the wannabe.
Now this road is stunning. We've actually sort of come up and over the crest, or one of the many crests I suppose. Capturing it is going to be nearly impossible. I tried on the way up, so I got some GoPros up. Good luck if you see any of it. I just put it in first gear
More for you to enjoy,
and released
really.
that, but I didn't actually set up my seat, so that would have been an interesting drive. I like to sit close.
and then you've got the up and down toggle on your left.
There's not an up and down.
Oh, of course there is. It's even
You're joking.
electric.
There.
At the front,
I can't
at the
find
front
it.
left, there's a little switch. You go up and go down. Yeah. All the
I never
Germans
knew
will now
that.
be offended again. Why is he making these funny noises? We don't sound like this.
But you do.
Yes.
Okay, right. So here we go. This is pretty amazing because
And she's warm.
she's very warm. Oh, and there's a GTR coming. Woo! Oh, for the car lads, for the lads. Yes.
Oh, his wife did not look impressed.
Furious, didn't she? She was like, "Why
She's done
this
the pass
road?"
one too many times.
No, I gotta get out quickly because there's a car coming.
Oh yeah,
With
trailer.
We'll get on our way. Now, I have spoken about it before on this channel that really the Touring is pretty much my dream 911. I mean, to have this engine, a manual gearbox, and the kind of low-key or relatively low-key looks, it's just kind of perfect. And would you agree that it's a tiny bit more sort of sedate? It's not as manic as the full GT3 on the road, or am I just making that up?
I think ultimately the R is a slightly softer damp version, but what you get with this car is you tend to drive it not as manic because you are under the radar. You don't have a wing. You don't need that downforce.
Don't need that downforce, bro. It's about touring, but it is about touring with that incredible engine and exhaust.
It's completely stock.
Yeah, sure. Now, you did warn me about the brakes, and I'm keeping that in mind as we hurtle towards every single corner. I'm so jealous of your life right now that you essentially just do this all day, every day.
Yeah, I don't want people to hate me that much.
Sorry.
Green.
Can we? Yes. I know you wanted to talk about it, so can we? Because a very green Panamera just came past
I think
us.
that was Python, if you want to be
I knew
extra
you'd
geek.
know. Yeah, I knew you'd know. But sorry, to go back to it, we can pretend like you don't have a job, but you do spend way too much of your time up on these roads.
100%. My relocation was very selfish and very effective.
Oh, this is just too good with the kind of natural tunnel of the rocks. Wait till you guys see the view as we go up and over the crest with the very, very Swiss restaurant at the top, the Gasthaus. The Gasthaus?
The Gasthaus. Which, because it tells you how high it is, must be a good restaurant.
But for those of you that are wondering what a Touring's like, I have done videos on them before. Obviously very familiar to myself, having spent all those miles in the Carrera T, but miles different, because this one has an engine that I prefer. I was going to say actually like, that would have been really hard. Anyway,
Just a bit revvier.
there's a straight, quite bumpy straight.
This is smoother now.
I always forget how long they rev out for. I'm shifting
you're
like...
short shifting.
I know.
But you're changing your audience. I mean, what is this?
It doesn't make sense to me that you can just keep going. I always forget. And also the speed starts to really gather after a while.
There's your straight.
Oh, come on.
Come on. There you go. That was 9,000.
But
we never get
those. Don't troll me in your own car. That's so not on. Doing 50,000 kilometers in this, I mean, that doesn't sound bad. That doesn't sound bad. I mean,
And look at that.
Look at that.
I think there's a. Is that a Lotus that's broken down? Or?
Definitely not. I'm gonna have to cut that out as well. Dude, thank you so much. I mean, I think that Vora looks amazing. Yeah, super special. Congrats. You are using it like, unfortunately, not many people use their limited Porsche product, and I think that has to be applauded. And I'm very jealous. Well, Tino is a legend for not only owning that car, but for speccing it the way he did, the sort of story behind why he sort of wanted the car, but then for also doing 51,000 kilometers in it and letting me have a go in it on an Alpine Pass. Not every owner is willing to do that, so absolute hero. A huge thanks to him. I hope you guys found it interesting because yes, okay, fine, Porsche nerdery at its finest, but I do think super interesting, and I know lots of you are still 911 fans. Every time I get up close to a GT3 Touring, I think I have to own one day. It's just the ultimate 911 in my mind. And yes, 992 is a better 911 in many ways, but I don't think even the GT3 variant will get close to that Touring. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully not much longer before we see the 992 GT3, but at some point it's going to happen. It's right up there. As you all know, I've banged on about it enough. It is really the ideal Porsche for me. Anyway, a bit of traffic now, so we'll cruise down the pass, catch up with you in a bit.